Um, so thanks everybody who joined us today. This event is part of the City of Marion's Geek Out About series. We've just got one more virtual event, and then hopefully maybe we'll start looking into doing some of these in person, which should be exciting and should open up some of the topics we can do. We have one more event coming up on June 11th that's virtual. And the topic's kind of fitting for virtual. It's Geek Out About computer safety. And we're going to have IT experts talk about how to stay safe online and how to keep your kids safe online. So that'll be great. But today I'm really, really excited that Lisa with Grillworks agreed to do a demonstration for us. So she is going to be cooking some delicious sounding food, and we're not going to get to eat any of it, but you should go visit her store after this so you can get some of the supplies to grill these things. So Lisa, thank you so much for joining us today.
Sure, thanks for having me.
So I'll let her go ahead and get started with her demo. Feel free to ask questions throughout the event and I'll relay them. I can see them here on my screen. Or you can also ask questions at the end of the demo. So just pop them in there whenever you think of it. But I'll let you go ahead and get started, Lisa.
Awesome. Well, as you said, my name is Lisa Gilliott. My husband and I own the Grillworks. We opened our store 11 years ago, and we're having a big open house celebration next weekend, May 22nd, celebrating our 11th anniversary, since we really couldn't celebrate our 10th anniversary. So it'll be a fun day to come out with lots of grilling demonstrations. We do classes. We'll show you lots of different ways to cook different things, and just a great way to introduce you to our store if you haven't already been. But inside we have over 300 sauces and rubs, and I've got samples of everything. So you can taste it before you take it home to make sure it's the perfect flavor. When you walk in, it can be a little overwhelming. So we're there to help you too. So if you come in and tell us you're doing ribs for the first time and you've never done ribs before, that's what we're there for. We're going to help you find the right flavor, whether it's spicy, sweet, whatever it might be, and we can steer you in the right direction. So it's all about making things easy. And that's what we're going to do today, is make things easy. I'm going to do a couple of different recipes, and these are all so easy to do, but it's going to make you seem like a pro. So the first thing we're going to do, because it's going to take the longest on the grill, is we're going to smoke some salmon. And salmon can be done lots of different ways. You can put it just on a regular cooking grate. You can put it on a salt plate or a cedar plank. I'm putting it on a cedar plank today. Now, a cedar plank, when you use it on a gas grill or a charcoal grill, what you want to do is you want to soak the cedar plank. And that cedar plank is going to absorb that water, and it creates a smoldering event for the salmon. So the board is going to char underneath. So I've had this one soaking. Now I'm going to be doing it on a pellet grill today. So it's not going to have quite the same effect, but I wanted you to be able to see what I'm talking about. So this is a cedar plank that I've had soaking for about an hour now. And the reason you want it to soak is because you want it to be able to smoke. So the heat from underneath your cedar plank is going to start to char, and then that charred wood is going to come up and it's going to be absorbed in your salmon. So it's very easy to do. You'll see a lot of restaurants sell cedar plank salmon. So easy to do. So this is a recipe that we actually did for the Jones County Fair. And out of 24 teams, we came in second place. So we were really excited about it. It's a recipe that we developed a few years ago. And in our store, we have recipe cards like this. So this is on one of my recipe cards. And I also have it on our website, so you can see our recipes there. So you're going to start with your cedar plank and get your salmon. And I've kind of prepped everything here today, so there's not a whole lot of time that we have to spend getting things ready to go. But here's my salmon, and I just bought these this morning from Hy-Vee. They're just nice salmon fillets, and you're going to just put them right on the cedar plank. Even though on a pellet grill, which is how I'm going to be cooking these today, the pellet grill isn't going to really make a difference as far as how the salmon's going to cook, or the board coming charred, but it's a nice presentation. And you'll see that as we start cooking. What's going to happen with the heat of the grill is all of the rub that I'm going to put on top of the salmon is going to caramelize, and it creates a gloss or a glaze effect to the salmon. So in my rub here, and this is just brown sugar. I use some applewood smoked sea salt, which is just sea salt that's smoked over applewood. It's amazing on chicken, on anything that you put salt on. I really like it on baked potatoes. And then some chipotle pepper. And then the secret ingredient here is some fresh lime zest, and it just gives it a really, really fresh flavor. So just take your salmon, just spoon the glaze over the top, just so that it has a nice coating. And then with the heat of the grill, it's going to caramelize and create a glaze. over the salmon. And I will cook this about 20 to 25 minutes. Typically my grill is going to be set at about 350. You can set it based on how quickly you want it to cook, but you want to cook the salmon until it's about 145 is a safe temperature for salmon. I kind of cook it until I take my my tongs and I squeeze the salmon and it's just flaky. That's when I know that it's done. But I like doing it on the cedar plank because it's nice to just take off the grill this way, and it's a nice presentation to just take to the table. The fresh lime zest in this one just really gives it a nice, fresh, yummy flavor. So then that's all there is to it. We just put the rub on there, take the cedar plank, and we're just going to put it right in the grill. How easy is that? Not much that needs to be done. You don't need a whole lot of ingredients, and you can make it for a large group very easily, or it can be just a simple weeknight treat. So very easy. So that's going to cook for about 20 to 25 minutes. So we'll keep watching that. In the meantime, what I want to show you next that we're going to do is we're going to show you how to cold smoke. And cold smoking can be done on any grill. What you're going to use to cold smoke, and cold smoke means you're smoking something with no heat. So we sell these smoke tubes at the shop, and these smoke tubes are expandable. So they'll smoke for 3 hours this way and 6 hours if you expand it. I also have shorter ones that'll smoke for 2 to 4 hours. Typically, if you're doing cheese, which is my favorite thing to smoke, it takes about 3 hours. So this size tube is perfect. You don't have to worry about running out of pellets. It's going to be the right size. It's going to smoke nicely for those entire 3 hours. So what you're going to do is you're going to fill this up with wood pellets. And these are the same pellets that our grills run on. So our wood pellet grills, auger the pellets in, keeps your temperature consistent. And then this is the same thing. So these are what the wood pellets look like. They're just 100% compressed wood. There's no fillers or binders. It's all food grade pellets. So there's nothing sweeping off the floor of the plant where the pellets are formed. It's all going to be natural. I'm using apple wood here. And so we're just going to fill the tube up. And I have a lot of different flavors of pellets, depending on what flavor you're looking for. So if you want a stronger smoke, we've got hickory. If you want a sweeter smoke, we've got apple or cherry. Pecan is one of my best sellers. You can use any flavor that you like, but you want to make sure you're using a food grade pellets. So I just kind of tap it down a little bit to make sure those pellets are in there really well. And then we're going to take a propane torch. Now, if you don't have a propane torch, you can also do this with a lighter using some gel starter. You want to be able to get a good bed of coals started on in your tube. So a propane torch works the best. And so just take your propane torch and you're going to start the pellets to smolder here. So I like to leave my heat on there for a good 30 seconds. You just want to get a nice bed of coals started. We might have a little bit of a challenge today with it being windy, but we're going to give it a shot here. So I just kind of move my propane around here. At home, I use a creme brulee torch. So if you don't have one of these blue propane torches, you can use that too. Go around the outside a little bit just to get a nice, good bed of coals started. So after we get it lit, we want it to burn for about 10 minutes to get a nice base of heat. I'm trying to see those pellets starting to burn here. I'm going to try moving it back here in the grill and see if we can keep this going. Normally, I would leave it sitting out to get those flames going really well, but I think back here it might work a little bit better to keep it more protected from the wind. So we're going to let that burn for about 10 minutes. And then after 10 minutes, we're going to blow it out and we're going to lay it down in the grill. And the smoke that this thing produces is crazy smoke. And that's all you have to do. So today what I have on the grill here, we're going to smoke some butter and we're going to smoke some cheese. Yesterday we did a demonstration here and we were smoking some pineapple and it was fabulous. It's very easy to do. because it's a little warmer outside today, I did put a pan inside underneath the cooking grate where my cheese is sitting, just to put a little bit more refrigeration, I guess you could say, inside the grill. I just don't want that cheese to melt. And so that's the purpose of the pan of ice there. But you can smoke all kinds of things. You can smoke salt, like we're using the smoked sea salt for our salmon. You can smoke butter. I like to smoke cream cheese and then use that in my jalapeno poppers. We did pineapple. I have customers that smoke ice cream. All kinds of things. Options are limitless, really. The biggest thing with cheese is after you let it smoke for the 3 hours typically, and that's what I use for my harder cheese. My cream cheeses, I'll smoke those for about an hour and a half. My butter for about 30 minutes. Harder cheeses, after you smoke them, you're going to want to let them, wrap them in plastic wrap, put them in the refrigerator, and forget about them for a week. If you eat them right away, you're going to think that you ruined it, and it's going to taste like you're licking an ashtray. It just has to mellow a little bit, and it just helps that smoke to penetrate the whole block of cheese. But doesn't matter how many things you have on the grill. Good catch, Jenna. Wind is not our friend today. It just depends. You can fill that grill up. It's not taking any more smoke or any more pellets. So fill it up as much as you can and throw as much on there as you want. It's a great Christmas present if you want to. Oh, see our flame blew out. So you can see the smoke that it's generating. We're going to let that go that way. And I'm just going to lay it down inside the grill here. See the smoke? Isn't that crazy? So now I'm just going to shut the lid. And that's all there is to smoking cheese. Seems too easy, doesn't it? So with this, you can use the smoke tube for supplemental smoke while you're grilling or smoking, or you can use it to cold smoke. It's a great Father's Day gift if somebody's looking for something unique for father. But yeah, they're awesome. They're so fun to use, and there's so many things you can use them for. So we'll come back and we'll check on that in a little while.
Lisa, you said there's a bunch of different flavors of the smoke flavors?
Yeah. So I was using apple today. We've got alder, we've got cherry, we've got hickory, I've got mesquite, pecan, maple. There's a Pitmaster's Choice, which is hickory cherry and maple. So that's another good option. So some people, it depends on how sensitive your palate is. Some people cannot tell the difference between any smoke flavors. Typically for cheese or for lighter meats, you're going to want to use maybe a sweeter smoke or a lighter smoke. Again, it just depends on what you're cooking. And many flavors can be universal, but we can give you that information too when you come into the shop. Our pellet grills, they run on pellets as well. And I have 18 different varieties of pellets for the pellet grills. So whether you're wanting something sweet or strong or mild or smoky, we've got all those different choices for you. So.
Gotcha. We did have one question pop up. What did you say were the ingredients in the rub you used on the salmon?
The salmon. So I made more rub than what I needed because I wanted to make sure I didn't run out. But typically my rub is 3 tablespoons of brown sugar, 1.5 tablespoons of my chipotle rub, about 1.5 tablespoons of my applewood smoked sea salt. So it gives it a little bit of a smoky flavor. And then I do about a tablespoon of fresh lime zest. And that lime zest, like I said, that's a secret ingredient. It is just amazing. So good. So if anybody's out and about and you want to swing by when the food's all done, we'll have some samples here.
That works.
If we tempt you, right? Okay, so we've got the salmon going. Salmon's looking great. We've got the cheese smoking. So the next thing we're going to do here, let's go ahead and start the chicken. Chicken's going to take a little bit longer too. And sometimes when you do chicken on the grill, it wants to dry out and it's so hard to keep it juicy. Well, I've got an awesome tip for you here. This makes it so easy and the flavor is incredible. All right, so I got chicken tenders here. Chicken tenders are nice and easy to work with. And because of time, they're not going to take quite as long to cook. So I'm going to take my chicken tenders and I'm going to put them in a Ziploc bag. And I kind of compare this. What we're using here is called char crust. And I compare this to like shake and bake. So you're going to put your chicken inside the bag, and we're going to pour a little bit of char crust in. Now, first time I did this wrong. So this is why I like to tell everybody how I do it now. Inside the box for the char crust, you have a little packet, and this packet will last you a long, long time. It doesn't take very much of the seasoning. First time I did it, I poured all of my seasoning on a paper plate, and I dredged my chicken through it, and I had to throw it all away when I was done. So now what I do is I will put the chicken in a Ziploc bag, and then I'll pour the char crust in, just enough to coat the chicken, and then shake it up. And that way you're going to get a nice even coat on each of the pieces. I'm using a roasted garlic peppercorn, which is my favorite. I've got a Cajun, I've got a jerk, and I'm out of my original hickory grilled, but that'll be here next week. So I'll have some more of that coming in. So now what happens with this char crust, and it looks kind of strange. It puts a weird coating on the outside of the chicken. But what's going to happen with the heat of the grill is it's going to create a crispy crust on the outside, but it seals all the juices into the middle. So you're not going to have that dried chicken anymore. So all you have to do, just put it right on the grill. And it's cooking away. You can use this on pork chops. You can use it on steaks. You can use it on chicken. I think you probably even use it on vegetables. I haven't used it that way, but I think mushrooms would be awesome. I'd probably coat them with a little bit of olive oil first, just to make sure that the coating is going to stick to them. But I think that would be really yummy too. So very easy, very simple. If you do have somebody in your house that doesn't like spice, you may want to stay away from the original or from the roasted garlic peppercorn. The peppers give it just a little bit of kick, not overwhelming, but it does give it a little bit of a kick. The original hickory grilled is awesome, and everyone likes that one. It's just a nice smoky flavor. So we're just going to let those cook away, and we're going to watch them when it gets to 165, which is a safe temperature. They come off the grill. Probably will take about, maybe 15 minutes or so. And that's all there is to it.
So Lisa, somebody wanted to know, so I know you said the temperature they need to get to. So they wondered, what temperature are you cooking these in the grill?
Well, the way I'm doing it today is a little bit different than what I would normally do because I'm cooking too many things too quickly.
Yeah.
So right now I have my grill set at 500 degrees.
Okay.
But I would normally have my grill set at like for chicken, probably about 350. You want more of a medium type heat on that. You don't want it to be too hot, but you also want it to be warm enough that you're going to be able to get a nice crispy sear on that chicken.
Yeah.
Because I'm going to show you the next thing we're going to cook. We're going to do ahi tuna on a salt plate. And that's why I have the grill set so high. Normally I don't cook quite this hot, but this tuna is amazing. We did this as a demonstration yesterday, and oh my gosh, people loved it. So inside the grill right now, and I don't know, Jen, if you can turn the camera towards this. This is a salt plate. It's just a thick piece of salt. And having this on the grill, it's getting nice and hot. I cook it get it hot until you put some water on it and it just dances. So it's all ready for us right now. With the salt plate, it's just 100% Himalayan sea salt, which is the healthiest salt that there is. It comes from the Himalayan mountains. It has 80 different minerals in it. Your food is only going to take as much salt as what it needs to cook and to prepare it. So the salt plates, because they're so thick, it will last forever. When you're done cooking, we're going to take a brush. We're going to take a little bit of water. We're just going to rough up the debris that's left on the salt plate that's cooked on there and scrape it off. And that's all you need to do. You don't want to put it under water because it's going to pit. But the salt plate will last until it's so dissolved that you can crumble it up and make table salt out of it. You don't need to use any soap or cleaners or anything because it's all going to disinfect itself. So my favorite thing to cook on the salt plates is ahi tuna, but you can do chicken, you can do steak. One of the fun things to do on the grill is to take your steak, cut it into strips, and get some veggies ready for fajitas. Get your salt plate nice and hot. And after the salt plate is nice and hot, bring it to a picnic table and everybody can sit down and they can all grill their own meat and veggies for fajitas. So it stays hot for about 20 to 25 minutes. It's an awesome, fun event to do. I wouldn't do it with kids because it is really, really hot, but it works great for adults if you're trying to find something new and fun to do with your friends. All right, so with this ahi tuna, and I just got this at Hy-Vee again, it's in the freezer section, and I just took it, they're individually vacuum packed. They also have a nice big bag at Sam's Club. You can usually get about 8 fillets in one of their bags. You get 2 fillets in one of the Hy-Vee bags, but they also have it at Aldi's, so you can get it lots of different places. When you cook ahi tuna, you want it to be nice and seared on the outside, but rare in the middle. And this seasoning that I'm using on this is called it's a lime pepper. And it's a wonderful, nice, fresh flavor. And so just put a nice coating of your seasoning on both sides of the tuna. And then when we put it on the salt plate, what's going to happen is it's just going to start searing, and you're going to see that meat just start turning white. And so it only takes a few minutes to cook ahi tuna. Very fun to do. All right. So we're just going to put this on the salt plate. Now I've been letting this heat up for about an hour and a half. You can do it in the oven. You can do it on a grill. You just don't want to heat it up too fast, because if you heat it up too fast, that salt plate's going to crack. Now it comes in a holder, so you can still use it, but it's much easier to use if the salt plate isn't cracked. So I heat it up. I started at about 150, then I go up to about 250, then I go up to 350, and gradually get up to 500 degrees. We're running low on pellets. We need to fill them back up here again.
So you said the tuna will, or I'm sorry, the fish there will absorb just a little bit of the salt from the plate, so it won't get like super salty or anything.
No, it will not at all. See how it's charring nicely and putting a nice sear on the outside of that? Mm-hmm. It turns out just amazing. Scallops are another fun thing to cook on there. I've got a recipe book inside, and I'm sure you can Google lots of recipes too, but there's so much you can do on the salt plate. They show you can also keep it in the freezer and use it as a cold serving dish. So if you're doing sushi or cheeses, you can serve it that way too. Now, after you use the salt plate a couple of times, it is going to get a little bit of a smoky color to it, just from the heat. It's not that it's dirty. It's not that you have to throw it away. It just is going to turn that color just from the smoke.
Yeah.
So we'll keep an eye on that, and we'll move on to our next item here.
That sounds good. We had a couple questions going back to the pellets, if you don't mind, if we pause now.
Sure.
So one person asked, we're looking to buy our first pellet grill. Do you recommend horizontal or vertical?
Well, you can use a pellet grill for more than just smoking. And so if you're using it to smoke, or if you're using it to grill, sometimes it's nicer to have more cooking surface rather than horizontal. If you have horizontal, you're going to have your smoke that's going to redistribute throughout the grill. But with this one here, I have the convenience of being able to use it as a grill or a smoker or even an oven. So if it's the summertime and I'm hungry for a pan of lasagna, but I don't want to heat up the house, if my recipe says 350 for 30 minutes, you put it on the grill at 350 for 30 minutes. So it's very easy to use. We like the setup like this. You can also do great pizzas on here. Green Mountain is the brand that we sell. The Green Mountain grills, we assemble them for you. We do all the initial burn-in for you, and the grills come with a 3-year warranty. So if you have any problems with your grill, we're going to take care of it for you. We carry all the parts, and I have 2 technicians that are specialized in the grill. So long story short, I guess, yes, I would recommend this type of a grill. But we also, all we do here is grills. We aren't going to send you out the door and have you figure out the grill on your own. We're going to explain it all to you. We're going to, we do cooking classes every month. We do a different class, a different topic. So we're going to be next weekend, we're going to be having a brisket class at our open house. And then we do different topics every month. We'll do turkey before Thanksgiving. We do prime rib before Christmas. There's no charge for any of our classes. You just come hang out with us and have some great food at the end of the class.
That sounds good. It looks like your camera turned off just now. If you can see if you can get that back on.
Okay. It says low battery. There.
Oh,
See it?
there you are. Yep, I see you.
Awesome. Great, great, great. Okay. So let's just check this again, see how we're doing here. That looks beautiful. So that's how we want that turned tuna look. So we're going to get a nice sear on both sides of the tuna. And we want it to be nice and rare in the middle. And it just is going to melt in your mouth. It is amazing. Salmon's looking pretty good. Let's check that. Yeah, we're doing pretty good here. Like I said, I'm cooking a little hotter than what I normally would. So we'll be sure to have it done in time before the class is finished here. This is a thermal pen. A thermal pen is made by ThermalWorks, and will give you your temperature reading within 2 to 3 seconds, and it's accurate within 7/10 of a degree. So there's different levels of instant read thermometers. I also have one. This one retails for about $99. I have another one that's $34. That's what I use at home. So you don't have to have the top of the line thing to get great results. But we do have different levels based on what your respectful budget is. Okay, so with the shrimp, I did this last night for dinner and it was so good. I'm going to use a product called a dry glaze. And this is Cayman Citrus Heat. So it's a fruity, spicy flavor. And so the wind is not being our friend here. Okay, what I'm going to do is I'm going to just toss it in some olive oil just to give it enough of a coating on it. And then I'm going to put it in the Ziploc bag. And ideally, it's great to have it marinate for about 20 minutes or so. We won't let it go that long because of time. But all we're going to do is, this is the char crust. That's not what we want to use. So you'll get a lot of meals out of one of these bags. And I've got lots of different flavors of these too, based on if you like something more sweet or you like something spicier. So just put enough in there to cover the shrimp. Kind of massage it in so that everything gets covered nicely. Oh, there goes my plate. Need some pellets. I'm gonna put a little bit more in here. Hey, Matt. That's okay, hold it, I'll get down. There's a garbage can right inside the, can you just get a scoop of pellets for I need a scoop of pellets.
Hopefully we'll be doing this in person next time.
Oh, wouldn't that be great? Everybody can have some samples.
Yeah.
So another thing that I like to use my smoke tube for, we had samples here yesterday for the folks that stopped by. I like to smoke pretzels and party mix on the grill. And it goes awesome with adult beverages. So I do have some samples. If you guys want to stop in, I can give you some taste tests here. So that's all we need to do to the shrimp is just put a nice coating on it and just let it kind of simmer, not simmer, but just let it sit and marinate for a while. And then after we take it out of the refrigerator, then we'll put it back on the grill. And fresh raw shrimp only takes a few minutes to cook. Now, I always buy raw shrimp that's deveined. I don't want to mess around with taking the vein out. The vein is yucky. You don't want to have the vein. That's all I'm going to say about that. But you can buy it so that it has shell on it or shell off of it. There's lots of different ways you can get it, but I always order mine deveined because it's just a lot easier to use. Yeah. Are there any other questions so far?
Yeah, so one is, you said you use food grade pellets for cold smoke. Are those lumberjack or GMG pellets? You have food grade or something different?
Yeah, you can use the Green Mountain pellets or lumberjack pellets. Now, the difference between using pellets that you actually use in your grill versus using a box of pellets like these. So The bigger, if all you're using the pellets for is just to cold smoke, this is a better deal for you probably, because you're not going to need a 20-pound bag of pellets sitting around. These pellets in the boxes like these are 100% varieties. The pellets that we use in our grill need an oak base to keep the BTUs of your grill up. So Lumberjack, Green Mountain, they're all going to have an oak base. Typically it's anywhere from 60 to 70% of an oak base. Oak doesn't give you a lot of flavor. The pellets on top of that oak base are where your flavor is going to come from. So if we're doing the Lumberjack pecan, for example, it's 60% oak and 40% pecan. So you're going to get 40% pecan flavor, but it's not going to be 100% pecan flavor like this will give you. So same with the apple or the maple or the hickory or whatever flavor you choose. You certainly can use those pellets, but you just might not get as robust of a flavor as if you use 100% variety. The reason I mentioned food grade pellets is we don't want to use pellets that you're going to use to cook or that you're going to use to heat a stove or heat a pellet driven heater at your house. Those are not food grade pellets. They're a lot cheaper, but what they put in those pellets, you don't want to put in your tummy. I hope that answers the question.
Yeah, I think that makes sense. Feel free to
Perfect.
Pop in another question if you want more info about that. One more, if you don't use a salt block, is it better to salt a steak before or after grilling?
You want to salt it before, and you can use seasonings as well. You don't have to use just salt. We have an amazing seasoning called gunpowder. But the biggest thing is sometimes when you do a pork chop or you do ribs, you're going to season it the night before and put it in the refrigerator and let it sit overnight and let it really soak that flavor in. You don't want to do that with a steak or with a red meat. It's going to pull all the moisture out of the meat. And so when you put it on the grill the next day, it's going to be really dry. So season it right before you put it on the grill, and that's where you're going to get your best flavor. I think our salmon's done. So we're going to pull it off here and see how it's doing. Yeah, see, it's got that beautiful sear on both sides. Doesn't that look amazing? And that's what your scallops would look like too. So when we slice this open, it's rare in the middle and it's done on the outside. It just melts in your mouth. I'm telling you, it's so good. Like I said, I don't order salmon or I don't order ahi tuna out anymore. This one might be a little bit more done than my liking, but it's going to be awesome flavor and just amazing. I'm telling you, if you don't like salmon, a lot of people, I shouldn't say salmon, ahi tuna. When I say tuna, people think of mom's tuna noodles. Yuck. Yeah. It's not that kind of tuna. This is like a steak. You wouldn't even know that it's fish. I still haven't convinced my daughter to try it.
Oh, today
we should make you do that on camera. Yeah, on camera, Jenna.
Today's the day.
But no, it turns out just amazing. And we had people here yesterday and they were just blown away at how awesome the flavor was. So that's our tuna. Any questions on the tuna? I know we went through that. There's not much detail involved with it, but does anyone have any questions on tuna?
None that have come through yet, but there was one more question. If you use a Green Mountain grill to cook a hot dog, wait, what am I asking? Sorry. If you use a Green Mountain grill to cook a hot dog and serve it in a bun, does it make it a sandwich? I don't know what that means.
Yes.
I think yes is the answer to that.
So you can use the grill as a grill or a smoker, just depending on what temperature you're cooking at. So if you're wanting to do a really hot, fast hamburger, you can turn the temperature up and get that hot, fast result. If you want to do a smoky steak, you can do what they call a reverse sear. So you're going to smoke it first for about 45 minutes just on the grill. And then you're going to turn the temperature up. So smoke it for about 45 minutes at 150. Then you're going to turn the temperature up to about 425 and put the sear on it at the end. So you can do it lots of different ways. And this chicken is done here too. We're doing great on timing.
So somebody wanted to mention too, and maybe you already know this, Lisa, I'm sure. For the techies out there, you can control and monitor some of the GMG models on your phone. Is that right, Lisa?
You absolutely can. So they have a Wi-Fi version, and with the Wi-Fi, you're able to control your grill from your phone. You can monitor, you can store temperatures. Good example, when my kids were little and would spend every night out at the Ball Diamond, at the end of the night, everybody's starving and would go through the closest drive-through. If I would have had a Green Mountain at that point, I could have had a pork loin on my grill, watching the temperature from the game. When my pork loin reached 150 in temperature, I could move the temperature of my grill down to 150. And when we came home, dinner would have been ready.
Very nice.
Kind of crazy, huh?
Yeah.
Whoever would have thought Wi-Fi on a grill, right? Okay, so here's my chicken. We're gonna slice it open here. Jenna, we need a visual here. See how juicy this is? It is not dry at all. And so it created that crispy crust on the outside, and it's just so juicy on the middle. So how easy. And it looks like our salmon is done too. You know what? We're gonna put our shrimp on the grill before we take the salmon. So we're just gonna take it out of the marinade and just put it right on the grill. Now my grill, my pellet grill here, I have a frog mat on it. And this frog mat is a Teflon coated screen. And it's non-stick, so nothing's gonna stick to it, but it also prevents anything from falling through the cooking grate. So when I'm doing my shrimp, or when I'm doing my party mix, or if we're doing wings, we don't have to worry about anything falling through the grates. And when the frog mat gets dirty, so the reason they're called frog mats, this is kind of funny. The gentleman who makes them, his name is Mike Riblet. So since he sounds like he's a frog, he calls them frog mats. So shrimp is on the grill here. And we just want to cook that until it gets a nice pink color to it. All right, we're going to throw this away. Change our gloves. I'm going to take the salmon off and show you what that's all about here. I sometimes go a little overboard with my rubs on my salmon, but we also have the grill set to a higher temperature. So it's cooking a little faster than what it normally would. But here's the salmon for us. Beautifully cooked on the inside. It's nice and juicy. With that chipotle pepper that we put in the rub, it's going to have a nice little bit of heat to it. With that lime, it's going to have a great fresh flavor. And then the brown sugar is going to give it that sweetness. So it's kind of the best of both worlds, or both of all three worlds. But you can take this right off the grill and take it right inside and put it right on the table. So it's just kind of a nice presentation too.
Oh,
and these cedar planks can be used over and over and over again. When you're done with them, you're just going to wash it off. I try not to use soap because I don't want it to absorb into the plank, but I wash it off, scrape it off, get all the debris off of it, and then let it thoroughly dry. And then next time you're ready to use it again, you're just going to soak it in the water again and get it all nice and saturated and throw it back on the grill.
So it's just water when you wash it typically?
That's what I will use, yes. I know there's other things that people will use. I don't like to I want to make sure that I don't get any soap to be absorbed inside my cedar plank.
Yeah.
So that's how I do it anyway. All right, our shrimp is looking pretty good here. See all the things that we did and how fast this was? It is so easy. These are all simple recipes that anybody can do. I didn't have my grill going at home last night, so I just did my shrimp in the oven. And we have a new sauce coming in next week. It's a garlic butter. And so I did some of the shrimp in this new garlic butter that we're sampling and made a shrimp scampi. And it was amazing. I can't wait to get that in. And let's look back at our cheese. See the smoke?
Oh my gosh.
Crazy smoke, right? And that's without the grill even being on. All we have in there is just pellets that are smoldering here.
So it's
So
not really melted.
no, no. So the cheese is going to get a little bit of a darker tint to it. You don't want to do it with the grill running or you'll melt your cheese. My husband thought that would be a great idea years ago before we owned a grill store. He's figured it out now. But butter, again, I usually will smoke that for about 30 minutes and put it on a Hawaiian roll. Oh my gosh, it just melts in your mouth. I like to do cream cheese and then use that in my jalapeno poppers or on crackers, or I make a jalapeno popper cream corn. That's amazing. And you can use that in your dips or your casserole. So your options really are limitless on the smoke tube. All right, looks like the shrimp are coming along. Not quite where they want to be yet. Pretty close.
Would you ever do those on the salt plate?
Yeah, you sure can. Absolutely. Depends on the rub that you're using. You just don't want anything that's going to be too salty. Would you like examples?
I don't eat meat, but I'm checking.
How about fish? Do you do fish? Nope. Well, I don't have anything that you're going to like then.
Shoot. I thought there's some spices and stuff. I
Oh,
like.
absolutely. Absolutely. We had somebody just pull up and she's doesn't eat meat. So she couldn't be our guinea pig for some of our food.
No. Well, speaking of that, do you ever smoke vegetables with that smoke flavor?
Absolutely. So I have some nice woks inside, and that was one thing I was going to do today, but I thought these would be easier things. But take a wok. I have some great olive oil from the Galena Garlic Company. It's a garlic olive oil. Drizzle it with a little bit of olive oil. I have a seasoning inside called Grilling Addiction, which is my favorite. It's a little bit of garlic. It's a little bit of salt and pepper. It's got some dried Worcestershire sauce in it. It's great on veggies, chicken, steaks, burgers, mushrooms, veggies, anything. Sprinkle a little bit of that on there and then just put it on the grill and just keep tossing it until I like to do veggies like broccoli and cauliflower, just until it's nice and tender. I've also got some veggie roasters inside that you're going to do the same thing. You're going to mix it with your olive oil, some water. I'm sorry, no, olive oil, melted butter, and the seasoning. And I take that in a Ziploc bag and shake it up and put it on the grill right on my frog mat. My son-in-law said it was the best broccoli he ever had. And getting a compliment like that from your son-in-law is a big thing. So, yeah. Jenna, do you do shrimp? You do shrimp. Let me make sure they're safe here. Yep, temperature's great on them. You want to taste it? It is probably hot. Maybe we want to let it cool for a minute. But I've got a maple seasoning inside for shrimp. You could even put just simple lime pepper on it like we did on the ahi tuna. I've got lots of different choices. We have almost lost it, 300 sauces and rubs. So we can help you find that perfect flavor based on what you're cooking. How are we doing on time?
We're good. We've got 10 minutes left. If anyone has questions for Lisa, go ahead and pop them in now so we can be sure to get them answered before we're done here. So any questions about what she's cooked or the smoking process, or perhaps even just about grilling in general, if you've got some. Or stop out and see her, like she said.
Yeah, absolutely. So we have
know.
people come in, they ask, I ask them, what do you like to cook? And they say, I don't like to cook. Well, why don't you like to cook? Because it takes too long. Well, we cooked all 4 of these dishes in basically about a half an hour.
Yeah, that's crazy.
So you can make it seem more complicated than it is. There's all kinds of tips and tricks we can show you. So you don't have to make it hard.
Yeah. And it seems like using that thermometer really gives you peace of mind especially if you're newer to grilling. You can just look up the safe temperatures for meats and then just use that if you aren't quite sure if you've got the temperature set right on the grill and that kind of thing.
Absolutely. We have a little magnetic cheat sheet that I put together, and it can stick on your refrigerator, or, well, here's one right here. You can put it on your grill, and it tells you what the safe temperatures are for each of your meats. If depending on how you like your steaks, it tells you what your finishing temperature should be. So you can leave it right on the grill. How many people Google that every time? What temperature should my steak be if I want it medium, right?
Yeah, right.
It's all right there for you. So makes it nice and easy.
I love that we could see the shrimp just going off screen slowly, like we couldn't see anything of it.
She was trying to be subtle about it. How is it, Jenna? She said it's very good. Now you want to try the ahi tuna?
Maybe once we're finished with the video.
You don't want it to be documented?
Not on video. That's fair enough. Fair enough. One question came through. What does cleanup look like on a grill like the one seen here?
Awesome. So there's not much that needs to be done. If the this frog mat's gotten a little dirty, I will take it and kind of roll it, get the big chunks off of it. But you can also roll it up and you can put it in the dishwasher. So it's simple. You can keep using it over and over and over again. With the pellet grill, underneath the cooking grates, there's a drip pan. And that drip pan is where all of the meat, juice, and fats, and anything that falls out of the meat is going to fall on that drip pan. Then it's in there at a slope, and then there's a bucket on the end of the grill that catches all of that. So we recommend wrapping your drip pan with foil, and that keeps that nice and clean. So that way, if you do have something that stripped a lot of grease or juice, and now you want to cook a steak, we don't have to worry about having a fire inside the grill. You can just change that tin foil out, and you're good to go again. After you go through, so the pellet grills will use pellets as their source of fuel. After you go through 2 to 3 bags of pellets, which could be 60 hours worth of cooking, you're going to take the grill all apart down to the belly of the grill, and all that's going to be left in the belly is just ashes from the pellets that you burned. So take a shop vac, vacuum those up, and that's the only maintenance to the inside of the grill. But it's nothing that has to be done on a regular basis or even every week, maybe once a month. So 2 to 3 bags of pellets. On the average, if you're smoking, you're going to go through about 1/2 pound an hour. If you're grilling, you're going to go through about 2 pounds an hour. So they're very easy to use. You push a button, set it and forget it. It keeps the pellets augering into the firebox of the grill as needed. So if I want my temperature to be 225, it's going to stay at 225 until I tell it to change. So it's very simple and easy to use.
Nice. Well, I don't see any other questions right now. Is there anything else you wanted to share, Lisa?
Stop out and see us if you haven't already been in. We love what we do, and we love helping customers and meeting new people. Like I said, we have samples of everything on the shelf. So if you wanted to come in and try the lime pepper before you buy it, we have little cups. We'll shake it in a cup. You can taste it, see what you think. All of my sauces I have in the refrigerator, we can pull those out so you can taste those too. And lots of different options. So if you want to do salmon and you want to do salmon a different way you've never done before, we've got all kinds of ideas for you.
Awesome. Well, thank you so much for doing this demo. This food looks super good.
Well, come on out, try it.
Yeah, I'm not too far away, so that's a thought.
Yeah. Thank you very much. We appreciate you having us today. And if anyone has any questions, you can always reach out to me here at the Grill Works. If you haven't been to our store, we're at 763 8th Avenue here in Marion. So if you know where Zio Jono's is, across the street is Bank of the West, and we're right behind Bank of the West on 8th Avenue.
Perfect. That sounds good. And for anyone that wants to share this info, we are going to put this on our YouTube channel probably by Monday at the latest, so you can forward it on.
That's wonderful.
Well, thanks again, Lisa. Thanks so much for your time.
Yes, thanks for having us.
Have a good rest
Everyone
of the
have
day.
a good day. Enjoy the sunshine.
Yes, sounds good.
Thank you.
Bye, everyone.